Okay, so I had the opportunity to audio some of the closing arguments today. Actually, just the beginning, the first closing argument for defense counsel. Then I had to move aside because major media was there, and well, that's something that we're going to work out with the court. But in any event, I was able to audio some of the trial today, and I got the part of the opening statement of defense attorney Peter Krupp, and well, here it is.
He's highly intoxicated, and we know that Talbot had a blood alcohol level of 0.16, which is twice the legal limit, at least at the time he got to the hospital. How high do you think his blood alcohol level was when he left Margaritas? We know that his fiancée says that Daniel Talbot was drunk, and everyone in the group who left for the baseball field was similar. So it's approaching closing time at Margaritas, and what do? They pile into Soto's truck, which has a gun and lots of ammunition stuffed under the seat, and they drive over to the high school to continue drinking. Bethel, who knew Talbot was armed, said she didn't understand why they had to go to the field. They were grown adults. But Talbot and Soto insist, like old times. When they get there, Bethel says she took 2 beers out of the cooler. Soto says he took 2 beers. Talbot says he took 2 beers. Soto says Talbot took 2 beers. Franklin tells you he took a couple of beers. So if you're counting, that's 8. We're up to 8 beers. And every one of them testified that after getting the beers out of the truck, they go over and they sit at the bleachers, drinking at the bleachers. And they don't go back to the truck. Now let's fast forward. The police respond and take photographs of the scene. There are 2 or 3 bottles on the bleachers. No beer bottles evident in the garbage can. And 5 to 6 bottles strewn around the grass next to Soto's truck. Soto said that he and his buddies didn't throw their empties out onto the grass. Do you believe him? Did the police, after the shooting, try ineptly to cover up that they had been drinking by moving the bottles from the bleachers to the grassy area next to Soto's truck? We just don't know. Anyway, after they're there for a while, a kid in a red shirt walks by. And from here, the stories start to wildly diverge. Constance Bethel says that Daniel Talbot said something loud enough for the kid to hear, role-playing like a gang member. She had seen him do it lots of times, throwing up gang signs. He thought it was a joke. She testified that the kid in the red shirt didn't react at all. When she spoke to the police on September 29, though, Talbot's reported actions, according to her, were much more innocuous. William Soto said on direct examination that the first things were said by the kid. He says that the kid says, BK, motherfucker, BK. He says that Daniel Talbot was standing beside him. And Soto testified, I know it now that Daniel Talbot said blood cure. What does that tell you? That tells you that William Soto is trying to conform his testimony, his statements, to what others have said, not unlike the chief of police. He's trying to get his story straight. But when he was interviewed by the police on October 1st, he said that Daniel Talbot said nothing gang-related, nothing to antagonize the kid. And he said that the kid said nothing. Was Soto lying to the police on October 1st? And if so, why? To protect himself? To protect Talbot? Or was Soto telling you what he thought that when he came to trial, what he thought would sound the best? Was he testifying based on what others had told him and not based on his own memory? Evan Franklin said to you on direct that during this first encounter with the guy with the red shirt, there was yelling and swearing with the person in the red shirt, and that he first sees the kid near the bleachers. That's what he told you when he came to court. But he didn't say that under oath in the grand jury. In the grand jury, he says he never saw the kid near the bleachers. He says that the kid walked from Cary Ave across towards the entrance to the path, and then towards the direction of True Street. Do you think that Evan Franklin, who is feeling guilty, was trying to get his story straight for trial? Stacy Brzezzi. She says that Daniel Talbot said blood killer. She told you this. Directed to the kid walking by. But when she was talking to the police on October 1st, 2007, she told the police nothing was said by the kid or by her group. So was she lying to the police on October 1st, trying to protect Daniel Talbot's memory? least the impression that Daniel Talbot didn't talk to Kid? What if hit Daniel Talbot and killed Daniel Talbot?
Okay, that was the first part. And one thing to think about as far as Franklin is concerned, under oath, he testified he didn't know exactly what kind of guns he had at the house. Okay, there's a few things you know as a man. You know what kind of car you drive, you know what kind of motorcycle you ride, you know what kind of knives you have, and you certainly know what kind of guns you have. So I don't know, I'm not saying one way or the other. All I'm saying is that his testimony, suspect. Extremely suspect. And part 2 is coming up.